Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking about Ramadan, the Islamic holiday. Please remember to like and subscribe. Now let's get right into it. Fact 1. Eating without the sun. At the core of Ramadan is the fasting phase, where Muslims need to fast. This is by far the most commonly well-known fact about Ramadan. The fact that the Muslims observing Ramadan cannot eat between sunrise and sunset. And therefore, when the sun is up, they cannot eat or drink and must do something else to take their mind off the hunger or thirst that they're experiencing. When the sun goes down, however, then they could start eating and drinking to replenish lost nutrients or liquids throughout the day. And also, they need to eat a good meal before sunrise so that they could prepare well for the day of not eating or drinking. And so the two meals are most important, sunrise and sunset. Alright, let's get into the next fact. Fact 2. Guardian sweets. Did you know that during Ramadan, and especially in the Gulf states, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and so forth, they also have a very cool Ramadan tradition regarding children and candy. Ramadan is observed for an entire month, or lunar month, so 29 or 30 days. On the 15th day, in the Gulf states, they have a tradition where children dress up in nice clothes and go out in the streets and different houses or commercial establishments such as malls or shopping plazas and sing Islamic songs, and in return they get candy. This is so similar to Halloween in the United States, and also an added Christmas element with the crier. And so it is interesting that most people don't know about this part of Ramadan, and in fact most people wouldn't know because it's really only observed in the Gulf states, and as you know, Muslims are worldwide in many other countries. But in the Gulf states, children have an extra time of getting sweets for Ramadan. Alright, let's get into the next fact. The Qadr night. So, as I mentioned in the previous section, Ramadan is a whole monthly affair. But toward the end of the Ramadan, at night, it's especially holy. During these last nights of Ramadan, they're considered especially holy because in Islamic belief, these are the nights when the Qur'an, or the first verses of the Qur'an, was revealed to the Islamic prophet Muhammad, and is described better than 1,000 months of worshipping. Obviously, the exact date is uncertain, but it's one of the nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Because these nights are especially holy, Muslims gather at the mosque during these nights to offer prayers and partake in religious rituals. And so, in these last nights, at night, the mosques are lit up brightly and filled with many people in the mosques to attend their prayers and rituals for this night. The Qadr night is one of the most important part of Ramadan, and is also toward the end of the Ramadan, which I think is a precursor to the ending of the fasting and the Eid holiday that officially ends Ramadan. So, in the future, if you happen to be in a Islamic country during Ramadan, don't be surprised when you see a whole bunch of people out at night on the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Alright, let's get into the next fact. The high rates of observance. As you know, Muslims, or Islam, is a very popular religion worldwide. And actually, as I mentioned in previous section, Gulf states have their own rituals and traditions, and so does every other Muslim country, Indonesia or Bangladesh, Pakistan, and so forth. However, one thing is in common is that all Islamic countries with a Muslim majority observe Ramadan. In fact, it was statistically calculated to be about 93% observance. And so you can think that Ramadan is truly a holiday that unifies all Muslims around the world. Because despite their differences between Shia and Sunni Muslim, for example, they all observe Ramadan at the same time, together. And so I think it's pretty cool that Ramadan is a unifying holiday where 93% of all Muslims observe it. And so when there's a war, for example, between Sunni or Shia Muslims, they can probably lay down their arms and call a truce during this time because they both observe this most important holiday in their religion. It's similar to Christmas to Christians worldwide, where Christians and Catholics both observe Christmas. Alright, let's get into the next and final fact: the midnight sun. Going back to my first section, we talked about the most important part of Ramadan, the fasting that occurs between sunrise and sunset. But what about Muslims that are living in polar regions where Ramadan falls during the summer when the sun never sets? It's a huge problem because the human body can't actually fast the entire day and night without any eating or drinking. That's actually really unhealthy. And so what happens is, for Muslims in places where the sun doesn't set because it is the middle of summer in the polar regions, they actually observe the sunrise and sunset of Mecca, the most important place of worship. And so if you're a Muslim observing Ramadan in the polar regions, you will simply time your observance with the times observed in Mecca. And therefore, you would eat before sunrise in Mecca, and then stop when the sun is rising in Mecca, and then begin eating again when the sun is set in Mecca, even though your area is completely bright. Alright, that's it for my video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.